I'm going to tell you about the most embarrassing moment of my life, and how it somehow turned into the best thing that ever happened to me. Right now, I'm sitting at my kitchen table in Boston, looking at a text message that makes me cringe every time I read it. It's from 3 weeks ago, and it says, "So you're the guy who completely ignored me at the coffee shop. This should be interesting." Yeah. I ignored my blind date before we even officially met. And let me tell you, the universe has a twisted sense of humor. My name is Jordan Hayes, I'm 28 years old, and I work as a graphic designer for a marketing agency downtown. I'm not usually the kind of guy who goes on blind dates. Actually, I'd never been on one before this disaster. But my best friend Kevin had been bugging me for months to meet his girlfriend's coworker, saying we'd be perfect together. I'd been single for over a year after a relationship that ended badly, and I wasn't exactly jumping to get back out there. But Kevin wouldn't let it go. "Dude, you can't hide forever. Rachel says this girl is amazing. Smart, funny, beautiful. You two have a ton in common. Just meet her for coffee. 1 hour. If it sucks, you never have to see her again." After weeks of this, I finally caved. Fine. 1 coffee date. What was the worst that could happen? Spoiler alert, it could get pretty bad. The date was set for a Saturday afternoon at this coffee shop called Brewhaven in the Back Bay neighborhood. 2 o'clock. Kevin had shown me a picture of her on Rachel's Instagram. Her name was Sienna Moretti. In the photo, she was laughing at something off camera, dark curly hair falling around her face, brown eyes bright with humor. She was pretty, sure, but I'd learned a long time ago that photos don't tell you much about a person. I wasn't getting my hopes up. Saturday morning, I woke up late after staying up until 3 working on a freelance project. Had a massive headache, was running behind schedule, and realized I desperately needed coffee before this date. I couldn't show up to a coffee date already needing coffee, right? So I decided to stop at my usual place, a small shop near my apartment called Daily Grind, grab a large coffee to wake myself up, then head to Brewhaven. It was 11:30 when I walked into Daily Grind. The place was packed, as usual for a Saturday morning. I stood in line, still half asleep, scrolling through my phone and not paying attention to anything around me. I'd been in line for maybe 2 minutes when someone behind me said, "Excuse me." I didn't respond. Didn't even register that they might be talking to me. Just kept staring at my phone. "Excuse me," the voice said again, a little louder. Female voice. Annoyed. I glanced back briefly, saw a woman standing there, and mumbled, "Sorry," before moving forward in line. Didn't really look at her. Didn't care. I just wanted my coffee. The line moved slowly. The woman behind me sighed loudly a few times, clearly impatient. At one point, she said something like, "This is ridiculous," to herself, and I silently agreed but didn't engage. I'm not a morning person. I don't do small talk before caffeine. Finally, I got to the counter, ordered my usual, and stepped aside to wait. The woman who'd been behind me ordered next. I heard her say something to the barista about being in a hurry, about having somewhere to be. I still wasn't paying attention. Just checked the time on my phone. 11:45. Good. Plenty of time to drink this coffee and get to Brewhaven by 2. My drink came up. I grabbed it and left without looking back. Went home, drank my coffee, took a shower, changed clothes 3 times trying to find something that looked decent but not like I was trying too hard. By 1:30, I was ready. Nervous, but ready. I drove to Brewhaven and got there at 1:55. Perfect timing. The place was smaller than Daily Grind, more intimate. Exposed brick walls, mismatched furniture, indie music playing softly. A few couples scattered around, some people working on laptops. I grabbed a table near the window with a good view of the door so I could see when Sienna arrived. Ordered a green tea because I'd already had enough coffee to fuel a small army. 2 o'clock came and went. No Sienna. I checked my phone. No messages. 2:10. 2:15. I started to wonder if I'd been stood up. Would that be better or worse than actually going through with this date? 2:20. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Running a few minutes late. Had a terrible morning. Be there soon. Sorry. Must be her. I texted back. No problem. I'm at a table by the window. 2:30. The door opened and a woman walked in. She looked around, clearly searching for someone. She was tall, wearing jeans and a green jacket, dark curly hair pulled back in a messy bun. Something about her seemed familiar, but I couldn't place it. She spotted me and started walking over. As she got closer, I realized she was really pretty. Like, stop you in your tracks pretty. Not just in a photo on Instagram way, but in person. She had these expressive brown eyes and this energy about her that was hard to describe. Then she reached the table and I got a better look at her face, and my stomach dropped. It was the woman from Daily Grind. The one who'd been behind me in line. The one I'd completely ignored. Oh no. Oh no no no. She recognized me at the same moment. Her eyes widened, and something crossed her face. Surprise, then realization, then what looked like amusement. You, she said. Me, I said stupidly. She sat down across from me, and there was this moment where neither of us said anything. Then she started laughing. Not a polite little laugh, but a real, genuine laugh that made several people in the coffee shop look over. This is unbelievable, she said, shaking her head. You're Jordan. The guy Rachel has been trying to set me up with for 3 months. And you're Sienna. The woman I completely ignored this morning. Completely ignored is right. I was trying to tell you that you dropped your wallet. It was sitting on the counter behind you. My hand automatically went to my back pocket. My wallet was there. I found it after you left and gave it to the barista. Told them someone would probably come back for it. She leaned back in her chair, still smiling. Then I had to go back to my apartment and grab my backup credit card because I'd left mine at home. That's why I was late. So really, this whole thing is kind of your fault. I felt my face getting hot. I am so sorry. I was barely awake this morning. Didn't get much sleep. I wasn't trying to be rude, I just wasn't paying attention to anything around you. She raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I noticed. I'm usually not that oblivious. Today was just. I trailed off, not sure how to explain that I'd been dreading this date so much that I'd stayed up all night working to avoid thinking about it. She studied me for a moment. Rachel told me you were shy. I don't think that was the word I'd use based on this morning. I'm not shy. I'm just cautious. With new people. Cautious enough to ignore them completely. That wasn't intentional. I ran a hand through my hair. Can we start over? Pretend this morning never happened. She seemed to consider it. I don't know. It's a pretty memorable first impression. Guy so disinterested in the world around him that he doesn't notice when someone's trying to help him. Really sweeps a girl off her feet. She was messing with me. I could see the hint of a smile tugging at her lips. I really am sorry, I said again. I know. You've said that 3 times now. She finally smiled fully. Okay. Fresh start. Hi, I'm Sienna Moretti. I'm a pediatric nurse at Mass General. I like terrible reality TV shows and making my own pasta from scratch. And I apparently have the worst luck in the world when it comes to first meetings. I couldn't help but smile back. I'm Jordan Hayes. I'm a graphic designer. I like old movies and pretending I'm going to start running regularly. And I'm apparently terrible at mornings and first impressions. Well, at least you're self-aware. She flagged down a waiter and ordered a cappuccino. So, should we try to have an actual conversation now? Or should I just leave and we can tell Rachel this was a disaster? Please don't leave, I said, surprising myself with how much I meant it. I know I screwed up this morning, but I'd really like a chance to not be a complete idiot. Just a partial idiot. I'll take what I can get. She laughed again, and I realized I really liked the sound of it. Okay. One chance. Don't waste it. We talked for 3 hours. Turned out Kevin was right about us having things in common. We both grew up in the Boston area. Both went to schools in the city. Both loved the Red Sox and had strong opinions about the best pizza places in the North End. She told me about her job at the hospital, about the kids she worked with, and I could see how much she cared about it by the way her whole face lit up when she talked. I told her about my work, about a logo redesign I was working on for a local restaurant, and she actually seemed interested. Asked smart questions. Made suggestions. At some point, the conversation shifted from small talk to real talk. She told me about moving back to Boston after nursing school in New York. About how hard it was to make friends as an adult in a city where everyone already had their established groups. I told her about my breakup last year, about how my ex had cheated on me and how it had made me wary of dating. Is that why you were so resistant to this blind date? She asked. Kevin mentioned you took a lot of convincing. Yeah. I just wasn't sure I was ready to put myself out there again. And now? I looked at her, at the way the afternoon light coming through the window caught in her hair, at the genuine curiosity in her eyes. Now I'm really glad Kevin's so persistent. She smiled. Me too. Even if you did ignore me this morning. Are you ever going to let that go? Probably not. It's too good a story. She checked her phone and her eyes widened. It's 5:30. We've been here for 3 hours. Is that a bad thing? No. Just surprising. I didn't think this date would last 20 minutes based on how it started. Neither did I admitted. Do you have somewhere you need to be? She shook her head. Not really. I was supposed to meet some friends for dinner at 7, but I could cancel. Or, I said, feeling brave, I could take you to dinner. Make up for being a jerk this morning. She pretended to think about it. Would this be a real dinner? Like a second date? If you want it to be. I want it to be, she said. We left Brewhaven and walked around Back Bay for a while, just talking and looking in shop windows. At one point, we passed a street performer playing guitar, and Sienna stopped to listen. She swayed slightly to the music, and I found myself watching her instead of the performance. We left the restaurant around 9. I walked her back to where she'd parked her car, neither of us in a hurry. When we reached it, we stood there for a moment, neither wanting the night to end. So, she said. This turned out better than I expected. Same. Despite the rough start. You mean despite you being rude and ignoring me? Yes, despite that. Which I've apologized for multiple times. I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. She looked up at me. I had a really good time today, Jordan. Me too. Can I see you again? I'd like that. I pulled out my phone. Can I get your actual number? So I don't have to keep texting the unknown number Rachel gave me. She laughed and gave me her number. I called it so she'd have mine. There. Now we can communicate like normal people. As opposed to how we communicated this morning. Okay, that's it. No more jokes about this morning, I said, but I was smiling. Fine. But only because you bought me dinner. She hesitated, then stood on her toes and kissed my cheek. Thank you for today. For being willing to start over. Before I could respond, she got in her car and drove away, leaving me standing there like an idiot with my hand on my cheek where she'd kissed it. I drove home in a daze. Texted Kevin immediately. You were right. She's amazing. And I'm an idiot. He called right away. What did you do? I told him the whole story. The coffee shop. Ignoring her. The wallet. He laughed so hard I thought he might pass out. Only you could screw up before the date even started. I know. But I think I fixed it. We talked for hours. I'm seeing her again. Yeah. When? I don't know yet. Soon. I'm going to text her tomorrow. Don't wait until tomorrow. Text her tonight. Tell her you had a good time. Won't that seem desperate? No, it'll seem interested. Which you are. So text her. He was right. After we hung up, I sent Sienna a message. I know we just said goodbye 20 minutes ago, but I wanted to tell you again that I had a great time. And that I'm really glad I didn't completely ruin my chances by being oblivious this morning. She responded 5 minutes later. You came close. But the dinner made up for it. Mostly. Then another text. I had a great time too. Let's do it again soon. We texted for another hour that night. And the next day. And the day after that. We went on our second date on Tuesday. Dinner and a movie. Our third date that Friday. A walk along the Charles River. By the second week, we were seeing each other every few days. By the third week, we were texting constantly. Good morning messages. Updates throughout the day. Good night texts that turned into hour-long conversations. A month in, I realized I was falling for her. Hard. She was funny and smart and caring. She called me out when I was being stubborn or overthinking things. She made me laugh constantly. And she never let me forget about that morning at the coffee shop, which somehow made the memory better instead of worse. 2 months in, I met her family. Her loud, chaotic, wonderful family who welcomed me immediately and fed me enough food for a small army. Her brothers grilled me about my intentions. Her mother asked when we were getting married. Sienna just laughed and told them to relax. We've been dating 2 months, Mom. Calm down. But her mother just winked at me. When you know, you know. 3 months in, she met my family when my sister came to visit. They got along immediately, which was a relief because my sister's opinion mattered to me. After dinner, my sister pulled me aside. I like her. Don't screw this up. I'm trying not to. Good. Because she's looking at you the way you're looking at her. And that's rare. For months in, we had our first real fight. She'd had a terrible day at work, lost a patient, came over to my apartment in tears. I tried to fix it, offering solutions and advice, when all she wanted was for me to listen. She snapped at me. I got defensive. We both said things we didn't mean. She left upset. I sat on my couch feeling like an idiot. An hour later, I showed up at her apartment with ice cream and an apology. I'm sorry. I was trying to help but I wasn't listening to what you needed. Tell me how to be better at this. She let me in. We talked it out. Figured out how to communicate better. And somehow we were stronger after that fight than before it. 6 months in, I knew I was completely in love with her. Knew it when I woke up thinking about her. When I couldn't imagine my life without her in it. When the thought of her being with anyone else made my chest hurt. I told her on a random Tuesday night. We were at my apartment, watching a movie, her head on my shoulder. During a quiet scene, I just said it. I'm in love with you. She lifted her head to look at me. What? I'm in love with you. Have been for a while. Thought you should know. Her eyes got wet. You can't just drop that during a movie. Why not? Because now I'm going to cry and miss the ending. It's a comedy. Pretty sure they end up together. She hit my shoulder. I'm in love with you too, you idiot. Yeah. Yeah. Have been since probably our second date. Definitely by the third. Why didn't you say anything? I was waiting for you to say it first. I kissed her. I love you, Sienna Moretti. I love you too, Jordan Hayes. Even though you ignored me in a coffee shop. Still bringing that up. Always. That was 8 months ago. We've been together for over a year now. She has a drawer at my apartment. I have one at hers. We spend most nights together. Her family treats me like I'm already part of the family. My sister calls her regularly just to chat. We've had more fights. More makeups. More moments of realizing this is real and solid and right. Last week, I bought a ring. Haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to propose yet, but I know I want to spend my life with this woman who I almost missed out on because I was too tired and oblivious to notice her trying to help me. Kevin thinks I should propose at the coffee shop where we had our first date. Rachel thinks I should do it at Daily Grind where I first ignored her, make it full circle. Sienna's mother keeps hinting that Christmas would be a perfect time. My sister says just to do it whenever it feels right. I think I'm going to take her back to Daily Grind. Order 2 coffees. And when she makes the inevitable joke about me ignoring her there, I'll tell her that ignoring her was the biggest mistake I almost made. That saying yes to that blind date was the best decision of my life. And then I'll get down on one knee and ask her to marry me. She'll probably make a joke about it. Probably say something about how I better not ignore her when she says yes. And I'll promise that I'll spend the rest of my life paying attention to her. Noticing the little things. Being present. Being worthy of the second chance she gave me when she could have just walked away from that first date. Because that's what love is, right? It's showing up. It's paying attention. It's choosing someone every single day. It's learning from your mistakes and being better. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, love is a woman who won't let you forget the time you were an idiot, but loves you anyway. I ignored the beautiful lady in line at a coffee shop. A few hours later, she turned out to be my date. And somehow, that terrible first impression turned into the greatest love story of my life. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask her to marry me. And I'm not going to ignore a single moment of whatever she says next.